But I think it'll happen. In life, however, there are no simple answers, and therefore, as you'll see as I go through this brief presentation, that there are certain things that we need to do to get there. If, on the other hand, we're talking about an avatar like this, well, you know, been there, done that. Okay, so let's look at a little bit of the work that MPC has been doing. Is the audio on? Yes. Okay. Thanks. Can you help me with this, please?
View.
Okay, as long as you can read it. Okay, coming back to the topic. All things I say happen for a reason, and I got thinking as to what we could think about this particular topic. One thing that led us, kind of when we were talking about the topic, was the reason for this topic being chosen could be that we could start thinking along these lines. The fact that the most common cause of a marketing error is not a failure to come up with the right solution, but the failure to correctly identify the problem. Or to paraphrase Douglas Adams, to understand truly the meaning of 42, you first need to ask how many roads do we need to walk down.
Normal.
Click on the normal.
Normal.
Left, left.
Left, leftmost. Yeah.
And close that window. Yeah, that window, yes. Yeah, the same thing.
First close the window.
Yeah, that's exactly. Kill left.
Now this open office dot.
Okay.
Okay. So indulge me for a moment. If you think about the top 5 movies that you've seen in the last 12 months, chances are that you think of films which have had a substantial amount of VFX. They've had a substantial amount of CG work. And therein lies the problem that we have as an industry, is the fact that as we get more and more invisible, as it gets more and more difficult to tell for somebody, by looking at a certain shot or a certain scene, that this was a VFX shot, the more invisible we get. I mean, I'm sure that all of you will be able to name the top 5 films that you remember. Yes, they will be very heavy on VFX and CG. You will probably be able to tell me the name of the producer. You will probably be able to name the director. But I can take a very hefty wager that none of you will be able to tell me who did the VFX. Right? And there is a problem. We are an unbranded industry. And unlike our larger and bigger cousins in animation and gaming, who've kind of done this path over the last 10 years, who've plowed a lonely furrow to begin with, but have gradually started getting noticed. You have brands today in animation and in gaming which are very well known in their own right. We need to be able to get there. And it is telling of the problem, it is very symptomatic of the problem that we are sitting here as VFX today in a forum that's called Animation and Gaming. Okay? If you look for VFX numbers in the report that NASCOM publishes, you will find us clubbed with animation. Okay? And this is not to really, this is not to sound like an ingrate. I mean, NASCOM, the folks at NASCOM have done sterling work over the last two decades or so, first with the software industry, then for animation, now for gaming. I think it's time that we join the queue and and hopefully take this forward. Because the problem with not being known and the problem with having certain skill sets that we require that are a little different from what our larger cousins require is the fact that the entire ecosystem is affected. In terms of training, in terms of infrastructure. I was very fortunate to have a tour of this wonderful lady's facility a little earlier today. And while talking, we discovered that we pretty much have the same problem, which I'm sure you'll agree with. Apart from infrastructure, government intervention, government action, there is the huge problem of talent. And with the gap that NASCOM in its reports itself predicts, I think we're all in for a tough time. And the trouble is that because we don't have a platform, we're all working in silos. I know that Rhythm and Hughes, as they've shared with me, is doing its own bit. We at MPC in Bangalore have started an incubation program where we're working with somebody to kind of train people because the people in this who want to come into the industry are not production ready. I'm sure you have the same problem. And the trouble we have in terms of talent in this country is that we have either people focusing on software and technology, or you have people focusing purely on art. While what this industry as a whole requires is the marriage of the two. And we need to be able to get there, and I hope that we'll be able to get there. And for that, we will need the support of NASSCOM. So, notwithstanding my little crib, I'm glad to be here. I'm glad to have this opportunity to share with you these issues. And I hope that, next year, after all this, if you still, decide to call me, I hope we're part of a NASSCOM animation, gaming, and VFX conference, and we have a separate track for ourselves. So, thank you very much for your patience. Sorry for this, but I'm a little unfamiliar with openoffice.org, which is the laptop that I was given. This was a PowerPoint presentation, but I hope you enjoyed it, and thank you for listening.
I'll take the privilege of introducing Mr. Kamal Kannan, who has won the National Award for this year's Madhavira.
Friends, VFX Industry, the next of that will be from India. I take it in such a way that with the next avatar, the creative part of it rather than the technical part of it. Since I'm involved in the local market, I think I have to tell you some areas where it's much needed imperative at this point of time. Our country is rich in arts, crafts, was rich, of course. But I can say, hello? Can't hear you? Now?
Much better.
Now it's better? Yeah. Primarily, we are science and mathematics based country. That is my view. Rather than creativity or arts. Arts and crafts are there. But suppose we see a flock of birds flying in a V pattern actually. We say the third bird has to come in 2 inches inside to make a perfect V, rather than, accepting the beauty of it, seeing how beautiful the formation is flying. And we go sit somewhere, in a friend's house, or not in our house, in a friend's house. The friend asks us to wait for a couple of minutes. We see the almirah, whether it is exactly aligning with the wall there, and we say, oh, the building is faulty. We slowly, from the creative perspective, we are more on the design areas.